Get ready, Staten Island. It's time to celebrate 5 years of Ferry Hawks baseball.
Tuesday, May 19th at 10:30 a.m., it's morning baseball. Wednesday, May 20th at 6:30 p.m., have a pawsome time at Bark in the Park. Thursday, May 21st at 6:30, it's Pride Night with $5 Bud or Bud Light draft beer. Individual game tickets start at just $12.
Visit ferryhawks.com now to lock in your seats. Katz and Cosby, entertaining and informative
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And now, you guys, we have some breaking news.
Breaking news, WABC.
What is going on with the Ebola virus? There's some reports about that. Also, a case of salmonella and also the hantavirus. It's like everywhere. Joining us now to talk about all of this is Dr. Marc Siegel. Dr. Siegel, talk about this. Now people are worried about the Ebola virus.
Well, the issue with the Ebola virus, and we keep having Ebola outbreaks every few years, believe it or not, but the one that we have the vaccine and the treatments for is Zaire, and this is a different one. It's a different strain, so it's not any worse, but it's a pretty deadly virus, but you have to get it from very close contact. And in a place like Africa, where it's, the healthcare system in many areas doesn't exist, and it's very poor, and people don't know how to isolate when they're sick. So you're seeing it spread with over 200 cases and 80 deaths. It's not going to come here in any kind of way. I mean, we saw back in 2014 with my friend Craig Spencer that he brought it here. We isolated them in Bellevue, and we never saw any spread from there. So we're not going to see it now. But I think it needs to be looked at because of the fact that we don't have any treatment or vaccine for it. We got some experimental Ebola treatments, but they haven't really made it through clinical trials yet. I'm not worried about it coming here.
Now, what other things are you worried about, Doctor? I mean, how about that disease on that cruise ship?
The hantavirus?
The hantavirus.
I've done a ton of interviews on that. I was in Nebraska. I interviewed the people running the quarantine center there. Some of them are heroes. Dr. Brett Major, a military guy, went on the plane to bring the people back. He's unbelievable. And they literally got the State Department, and the State Department sent me photos. I was the only one, John, who got privileged photos because you're friends with the president. And then, I got these amazing photos of what this plane was like. They took a 747, gutted it out, put on these big modules, like these containers that were 23,000 pounds, where they could put somebody in and isolate them with negative pressure and get people safe. But I spoke to the ship's doctor yesterday, the guy who said, he raised his hand and said, if you need me, I'm here. Meanwhile, the real ship doctor ended up getting sick, and he had to take over. He was a retired oncologist. I said to him, what was the key? And John, Rita, he said, I have very scant supplies, but what was the key was I went door to door and I made sure everybody on the ship was okay, that they weren't giving into fear, and I felt we were family and we were connected. And that's absolutely the key to real doctoring. I feel like this guy's a hero. I mean, his first day on the job, somebody died, but he helped to keep it contained. And I don't think we're going to see a big outbreak from this.
Well, that's good news. Any other good news?
Well, that is good news. Both the salmonella thing. Look, this is the time of year when you see outbreaks. I am concerned about the hantavirus, but that's an old virus. It's not new, and the good news there is that it hasn't changed. They looked at it and sequenced it genetically. It's the same one that's been around for decades. You know what I'm afraid of here, John? That the Democrats are using these as opportunities to try to pummel the administration and say, look how vulnerable we are. When meanwhile, it wasn't, that boat was floating around for weeks. That was the European health authorities that didn't figure out it was a hantavirus for 3 weeks, not the U.S. and not the State Department and not the CDC. So I'm worried about that the Democrats and the left-wing media looks for opportunities to look for vulnerability. What do you think about that?
Well, you're 100% right. Dr. Siegel, go back to your conference. Thank you for breaking out from your conference to come on WABC, and we love you, and we'll talk again real soon.
Thank you, Doctor.
Great to be with you guys.
Thank you.
You too.
Bye.